Sports Radio Network, streaming on hawaiisportsradio.com and via the new Hawaii Sports Radio Network app. And we are streaming live on YouTube as it is right now. The video will be up in just a second. I was just getting situated, as you know, can't always count on the guys to make it work for us ladies. We got to do it ourselves sometimes. So Michael Lasquero still making his way to the studio. So let me get just situated right here. Okay, there we go. Hello, everybody. As you can see, the seat next to me is blank. So it is open right now, but there are a lot of buttons to be pushed, but we're live. We're live on the show. Looks like everything is working accordingly this time. We are live on YouTube, and we're going to rock and roll this Monday morning. So thank you guys for hanging out with me and hanging out with us, and we appreciate all of you guys that do. So you can chime in on the conversation at 808-888-5481. That's 808-888-5481 if you do want to get in on anything you need to say and do and all of that stuff. Happy Aloha Monday. We got a lot of stuff to get into today. It is going to be a lot of recapping, honestly, in this first segment. There was a packed weekend of not just sports, but like going all the way back to Friday. I mean, not just sports, but just things with space, quite literally outer space. There was like Coachella kind of made its way and was a big news over the weekend. We'll talk about that but in the world of sports, there was a lot of University of Hawaii stuff that we got to recap. Water polo, shout out to the Rainbow Wahine water polo program for coming out on top of the Big West for the third time. Three-peat, let's go. So the Rainbow Wahine water polo team three-peating as Big West Conference champions. We will let you hear what the MVP, Agatha Weston, Aggie Weston, had to say following that match. And then also James Robinson, their head coach. Today is the selection show for the NCAA tournament. So be sure you guys, we'll keep you guys posted with that. We'll also talk about it, where they are slotted coming up tomorrow morning, of course. But we'll talk more about that coming up a little later. We're going to get into a little bit of softball. So we are awaiting word. Let's see, it is 8 a.m. right now. We are going to await word from HPU softball head coach, or HPU, the program, because we were supposed to bring you HPU softball today out at Sand Island. But as we can see, the weather has been quite rainy here on Oahu and everywhere else across the state. Hope everybody is staying safe. But actually, you know what? That's crazy, because I'm just getting a text. Okay, perfect. It is good to go. Awesome. Play ball, everybody. We will have HPU softball coming up later today, as I just got a text from Bailey Furman, the sports information director over there for HPU, saying that Coach Alex, the head coach for HPU, he went to the field this morning, scoped it out, see how everything was, and if it was good to go, if it wasn't too soaked, then we play ball today. So we can count on that. We're going to have HPU softball doubleheader coming up today. First game is at noon, so hopefully, it's just maybe a little bit of overcast, not going to be too hot. Kyle Galdera and Michael Lasquero with the call. Hold on, I'm going to have to text Bailey back right now. Thank you. All right, so we play ball, as I mentioned. So Coach Alex confirming he had a chance to go look out at the field at Sand Island, and we are good to go, everybody. So be sure you guys tune into that. Coming up again this afternoon, and then tomorrow we are planning to also have a lot of play-by-play stuff too. So it's going to be a packed week. Saturday. Tomorrow we are looking to have some OIA baseball between Waipahu and Radford, but today it'll be HPU versus Menlo. Again, doubleheader right here on Hawaii Sports Radio Network, presented by Hawaii Pacific Health. We'll talk more about that, get you caught up with how the Sharks are doing. Also hear a little snippet from what head coach Alex Takemura had to say in Sharks Weekly last week. If you guys missed it, I wanted to kind of share, because by the record, Coach Alex and the Sharks, it's his first year at the helm for HPU, to remind everybody about that. And as if coaching at the University of Hawaii was already difficult, coaching at HPU is also even more difficult, or I shouldn't only say HPU, at the Division II level, considering how much more you need to fundraise and get the additional resources that you need. So Coach Alex, during Sharks Weekly, was kind of asked about how they keep, the perspective and positivity throughout the season. season, considering that their record doesn't reflect traditional or what you would deem success. But he had a lot of good things to say in reflecting on the season up to this point. So we'll let you guys hear from that if you guys missed it on Sharks Weekly. And if you want to go back and listen to the whole episode, that's available for you guys on demand wherever you get most podcasts. We will also talk some University of Hawai basketball. That's a big thing that happened over the weekend. Again, I want to say stemming from Friday was Saturday was when we first saw of Marcus Adams Jr. coming over from Arizona State. And we also, speaking of Division II and the Pac West, we also got a Jaden Montagou who is from Point Loma, the Pac West champs. Point Loma made all Pac West first team. So a couple of commitments coming over from the men's basketball side that we will tell you more about. If you have not read Paul Breck's write-up on them so far, you can check that out now at hawaiisportsradio.com or via our app. Again, you can get the latest articles on the app as well. So we will let you guys, you guys can go ahead and check it out on those channels and mediums. But we'll tell you more about those two guys coming up a little later on the show. What else we got for you? We'll talk some NBA playoffs. As we know, we're here already. The actual season for the NBA starts this weekend. And I say that just because in the NBA, as you guys know, it's hard for me to follow the NBA regular season. I know Michael and Paul tend to follow it a lot more than I do. But one, it's hit or miss, like whether or not they're going to play hard in some of these games. And then two, there's just a whole lot of other stuff going on that we have to cover here locally when the NBA season is going on. Like it's still football season when it starts. Then we got college basketball season and we got a lot of other sports stuff to cover. So NBA kind of goes at the bottom or in the back of my mental bandwidth. So, but when it comes playoff time is when I kind of start to watch it again, because the players, in my opinion, they start to play a bit harder. They actually start to play some defense. It's just a lot better product in terms of what you will get every game. Like in the regular season, you'll still get great games, don't get me wrong, but it's hit or miss. Like sometimes it'll be like, wow, this is a great game. And then other times you're just like, what am I watching? There's no defense. They just do whatever they're going to do. And then, so the NBA season starts this weekend with the play-in tournament. So we'll talk a little bit about that, take a look at some of the odds and everything. But, all right, hold on. Sorry, I was trying to make sure all my cameras are situated accordingly. All right. Once again, feel free to chime in on the live YouTube chat, or you guys can go ahead and text us if you don't want to necessarily put in the chat at 808-888-5481. That's 808-888-5481. And of course, Caesar is there. Hello, Caesar. Saying aloha, y'all. Anybody know when the draft is? It is actually next weekend already, or next week, Thursday, is the NFL draft. We'll start ramping up our draft coverage maybe in a couple of days, start getting into that and talking about the NFL draft. So I've been reaching out to some guests, definitely efforting for any of you Las Vegas Raiders fans out there. I am efforting, trying to get some Las Vegas Raiders insight from my contact in Las Vegas who works for the Las Vegas Review-Journal. He was actually out in Indianapolis when the potential new quarterback, number one draft pick Fernando Mendoza was thrown out there to his guys. So we're going to try to get some insight, and it's just Las Vegas anyway. So even if you're not a Raiders fan, it's still interesting to chat about. And so we're going to talk about that. But let's see, aside from Tokyo Toe, Vanilla Beast Mode, Landon Sims, it's a week. Hey! Someone's so late. 8:03 or 8:02. It's 8:10. One. No, you're not on. There you go.
Hello?
Yeah, you're on.
I'm on now, right? So I thought I could save time by going up Piakoi and going to Canal Street, but Canal Street added 8 minutes to my commute time, so that's where I was.
Obviously.
But yes, it is a YouTube show, so I think I color coordinated my hat with my outfit. So
As he's wearing a Spacers hat.
the beautiful people.
But yes, thank you, Michael, for finally making your way to join us. But it's okay. It's okay. It tested me, and you know what? I passed with flying colors because I was able to do it all by myself here. As I mentioned, ladies, don't rely on the men to try to help you out here. You can do it all. Got us all up and running, even though the video wasn't on. So you guys should have seen me now that like I'm kind of situated. Now that someone's actually here in studio with me on YouTube, I had to like lean over here to press the opening button and then like pot it down myself, move myself back into this chair, press all the buttons, come over here and put us live on YouTube, and then here we are. So that's how. That's why the camera wasn't necessarily on when the show started, because I do like to make you guys laugh a little bit, and I do enjoy when you laugh with or at us, but I don't know if I could have stood that particular situation because it just looked more awkward than I usually do. So, but it's okay, we made it happen.
Yeah,
hello, Michael.
Ulei Agbayani is awesome. As you can see, never mind, I'm not gonna say anything.
What?
Well, can you see the number that this jersey is?
Oh.
Is that your Ulei?
Yes, it is.
I didn't realize that until I was in the bathroom earlier just now. So I was like, oh, it wasn't intentional. There's a lot of things I do intentional and cryptic, but that wasn't intentional or cryptic.
Well, I mean, you could also say it's so funny because the first thing I actually thought about when you told me to look at that number, I thought about Travis Kelce's jersey number. And Travis Kelce wears 87 because of Jason Kelce, who is the same age as I am. But then because I'm my Swiftie brain, that's what it went to. I was like, oh, 87 is Mr. Swift's jersey number. And then that's how you wanted to do the whole Taylor Swift thing along with me. So that's what happened.
Sure, but here's the thing. Here's the thing. Kool-Aid is different about Taylor Swift on stream or on show, because I've sent Kool-Aid like 2 Taylor Swift reels on our personal accounts and she has not responded to it. So I don't know if I watched it. Honestly, like my friends and everyone sends me like 50 bajillion reels, and don't worry, you're not the only one that I don't watch the reels for. I'm like, oh, here's something in pop culture that's Taylor Swift referenced,
or I probably already saw it because everyone knows that's already on my timeline. All right. Well, now that we have Michael here, we can start to get into kind of the weekend. I was trying to like stall because there's little nuggets I know you have to say about what happened over the weekend. How about just in general? How was your weekend?
It was all right. I got to take a nap.
Yeah,
it was wet, it was rainy, but yeah, I mean, I thought about trying to like brave it out and whatnot, but we do have a busy week this week, so I'm like, what, I gotta pace myself because the weather is gonna hold up and we're gonna have games.
Yep, that's exactly where I was coming from when someone was asking me what I was up to this weekend. And I'm like, planning the show, planning the week, because especially today and tomorrow, now that softball is on. I don't know if you heard me say that or if you were in the bathroom at the time, but Bailey did text me accordingly. So we do play ball today. There is going to be a softball game, HBU versus Menlo, doubleheader today with Michael and Kyle on the call, presented by Hawaii Pacific Health. But like I said, we'll talk a little bit more about HBU softball as the show goes along and let you hear from Coach Alex. Some of the other things, as I mentioned, our Rainbow Wahine water polo 14-9 win over Long Beach State at Long Beach State to claim 3. The three-peats for the Rainbow Wahine, and today is the selection show, but we'll talk more Rainbow Wahine water polo coming up as well. Selection show at 2:00 p.m. Beach volleyball was another thing going on this weekend on campus. The beach coming out with a pair of wins on senior day, beating Santa Clara 5-0 and then beating Oregon 4-1. So congratulations and shout out to all the seniors, and now they prepare for the postseason happening next week, along with how Caesar mentioned the NFL draft. So next week's a busy week too, because you got a bunch of Big West tournaments happening in multiple sports, NCAAs, all of that stuff for other sports, and then with the NFL draft, and then it's just a bunch of stuff. So the next 2 weeks, well, we've been saying this is just the gauntlet of April anyways into May. So I don't know why we're kind of shocked. I think we're just trying to like mentally continue to prepare ourselves for the craziness that is ahead for the next few weeks, because we've been saying it since from the beginning of April, like this is the Spartan sprint of April, but saying it out loud time and time again, knowing all the stuff we have coming up is like, oh yeah, there's Big West tournament stuff coming up. That's right.
Yeah, and shout out to the women's beach volleyball team because they, it was kind of questionable if they're going to play or not, but they got it done, and then kind of BTA on senior day, got 9 out of 10 flights they won, so that was good to see. I think for vibes, people prefer the court at Queens Beach, but the court at Ching Complex is actually kind of more. It's a bit more sturdier, so it's definitely great for the weather and whatnot, but also it allows them to to take advantage of our height that we have on the beach volleyball team. And I know Coach Danny Alvarez, it's technically his first year there as a head coach, but he's been there, so he's kind of known some of these senior girls when they were younger. So that's kind of cool to kind of get that moment with them. And it is a huge senior class, but yeah, that court at Ching Complex is very underrated. I know there are a lot of people with their AI designs that are trying to figure out what lower campus can look like with more facilities for the football team and whatnot, but that court at Ching Complex is really good. So before you try to wipe that away, I know you see you guys trying to wipe away the tennis courts, but yeah, some parts of lower campus is really good and beneficial. So don't try to move the beach volleyball court away from Ching Complex.
I'm like, who's trying to move away the beach volleyball and the tennis courts?
Cool, we have a lot of fans. Cool, we have a lot of fans, and there's a lot of fans out there that want.
Fans! I'm like, it's not like actual people that make decisions are trying to wipe out the beach volleyball court and the tennis court.
The fans are still important. I see them.
They are important.
But my job is to help educate the fans on how that's not a good idea. That's my job.
They're still gonna. Depending on what group of fans you're talking about, they're still gonna think any idea is a good idea.
Well, just like our Hawaii Sports Radio Network app, where I'm trying to get every broadcast we go to, I'm trying to get one person new to download it. Every time I'm here, I'm trying to convert one fan to being a bit more smarter.
All right, moving on, but sticking with the ladies' sports, of course. University of Hawaii softball. They kicked some Okole over the weekend. I'm going to give a lot of credit and kudos to the Fathers with Daughters organization because hosted that before the Saturday game. But the ladies took care of business. Now 12-6 in conference. Look at these scores too against Bakersfield: 12-6, 10-8, or excuse me, not 12-6. That's their record. 10-8, 14-zip. In 5 innings in that second game of the series, and then 8-0 shutout in game number 3, the game that followed that nice Fathers with Daughters day that was had. They played on. Again, it was the event happened, rain or shine. They were able to play softball games and baseball games, but the softball team taking care of business. And once again, shout out to first-year head coach Panita Thanatharn because so far so good. They're like, everything's starting to click at the right time, as we said. It's okay, like still figuring stuff out in the beginning. They still load up their schedules when they have to. They do go on the road. They play a game at San Diego. So I appreciate Coach Panita with scheduling some of these non-cons during their road trip, just like she did against UCLA, in which the softball team did pretty good, all things considering, against the UCLA squad. They were actually the ones to get runs across first. So the softball team turning that corner potentially and looking good here now that we're about midway through the Big West Conference schedule. So still a lot of games to play, but they do go on the road and play at San Diego and then play at UC San Diego this weekend. So I know that might be confusing, but they play University of San Diego and then University of California, San Diego for a 4-game road trip before coming back home and playing at Cal Poly next week.
Yeah, well, I just want to shout out the ladies' mental toughness and fortitude because that doubleheader on Friday actually had like about a 2-hour 30 minute delay because it was scheduled to be starting at the first game at 4 and the second game at 6:30, but I believe the first game didn't start until 6:30, and so I think that kind of helped benefited them because obviously if you're like the away team, I'd be like, yeah, I don't know if we're gonna play today, and you mentally get out of it. But the girls stayed ready, and I think the next game or the next day it was it's beautiful weather. So shout out to the ladies, just staying ready and kind of enjoying. I think sometimes in this rain delays, especially for the women's athletics, is that hey. it's kind of like bonding time, right? Where it kind of takes you back to when you're younger and playing club sports and whatnot, and you're on a travel team. It's like, hey, we got to make do what we got to do. And I think that's probably the biggest thing, is that they're able to just kind of stay ready and dominate in that series against Bakersfield. So yeah, shout out to the ladies, and shout out to this event, that they had, Fathers with Daughters. I can't confirm, but maybe Paul Brecht and Melly may have been there, but you can't confirm. But I know they want to get out of the house. So but, yeah,
they were having their own fathers with daughters. Well, fathers and daughters and families. And I know Paul's mom, shout out Heather, and then Morgan's dad are here helping them with the first week or so with baby girl Melly. So once again, shout out to our extended family there with Paul and Morgan and baby Melly and their parents that are here. And I'm sure they do want to get out of the house, but it's kind of rainy too. You don't necessarily want to bring newborn baby out here into the rain just yet. But moving on over to the other diamond sport with the baseball side. Fortunately, the baseball team did take the series against UC Irvine. So it took 2 out of just the 3, though. They dropped the game yesterday, 5-1. Pitching looked awesome for the first couple of games, but baseball continuing to need these series victories, as we keep talking about, just like with the HPU baseball side of things, kind of skirting just that middle of the pack area for the UH baseball team. The expectation is to make it into the postseason, so need to keep up these winning ways. But as we were talking about, that the UC Irvine squad was starting to kind of turn things around, and this was going to be a potentially tough series for the Rainbow Warriors. And that's not saying it was easy, but it's a good thing that the men took 2 out of the 3 once again, as they are sitting at 8-10 in conference play right now. Still a lot of games to go. Remember, baseball season does carry all the way till pretty much still a month left actually in baseball season. It ends middle of May before heading into the Big West tournament towards the end of May. But good wins for the Rainbow Warriors here, much needed wins. Would have liked the series sweep as always, but sometimes you can't be too selfish against a program that has consistently been good, a program that has consistently beat you in the past. So nonetheless, 2 out of 3 this past weekend is a good I want to say good start, but I know we're in the middle of the series. In my mind, it's just because it's like start of the second half of the season. So that's a good start for the Rainbow Warriors.
Yeah, it's a long season, and for the baseball team, I think I would have want the sweep, just where they are in the standings. You got to get into the top 5 to make the postseason, but they are going to be playing some of the lesser teams in the conference down the stretch. So that's when you really want to stack those wins and get some sweeps, and just don't let games get away from you, or just blow leads or just blow opportunities, because you really need to start getting some wins, right? And the worst thing I would feel as a team is to be like the hottest team in the conference and not make the postseason. So, good start for the baseball team, and hopefully, I think they're gonna play UCLA on this road trip. So, it's they gotta kind of get things figured out, because it's I don't want to say it's do or die, but it is kind of do or die, and we just need some more consistency, at least with the hitting. We've been seeing it coming along, but then some games we just get like nothing. So hopefully that can continue. These are some of the games that can kind of help teams bond and build towards the future. I do want to give a shout out to Jake Redding, the catcher. We hear a lot about like the pitching and whatnot, but he does a good job behind the plate, just working the umpire. Just kind of framing the pitches, and even like, it's not to get like the calls like early on, but it's like, hey, when we get to the nitty gritty in the 7, 8, 9 innings, we kind of want that call. So that's kind of like that, where I'll just give a shout out to Jake Redding, because he's been really solid behind the plate for the Rainbow Warriors, because that was kind of a position last year after the graduation of Dallas Duarte, that it was kind of like a rotational thing. It wasn't really a set starter behind the plate. So just want to give a shout out to Jake Redding for some of these pitching performances.
Yeah, and we did get a text about the baseball team earlier. Again, you guys can text us at 808-888-5481. Baseball gets 2 of 3 from Irvine, which is good. However, they are still 1 game back of CSUN for the 5th and final spot in the conference tournament. Irvine also ahead of us by half a game. Team needs to go on quite the run just to have a chance to play in the regionals. Exactly. That's why I mentioned, yes, it's good, but still a long way to go, a lot more season to go over here. I don't know what is going on over there with Lasquero. Anyways, so the team still has a way to go on. Again, Hawaii, let's see, 5th from bottom. So on the outside looking in, as they have it. All right. Last but not least, before we go to break, very wonky weekend to say the least for the men's volleyball team. Again, after sweeping on the road at UC San Diego on Friday, they lost in 4 sets at UC San Diego. But that Saturday match, I mean, I don't know. I haven't really heard exactly what was going on, or like, did they eat at the wrong Chipotle or In-N-Out the night before? But like, Tread Rosenthal wasn't feeling well. Justin Todd wasn't feeling well. I mean, we saw like Alex Parks get into the game. Magnus Heddervik got into the game, right? Like, and even though this bench they do have some depth, it was just like, the score is not indicative. Like, if you just looked at the score and you're like, how did they lose in 4 sets? There were a lot of things that were going on, and all the credit to UC San Diego, right? Like, I don't want to take it away from them that they came in with a better game plan following Friday nights, but usually we've been saying how this Rainbow Warriors team is a team that always plays extremely better. Like, they just play better on Saturdays because of the adjustments that they make. But yeah, that Saturday match was really odd just because there was a bug or something. And you guys gotta stop getting sick. It's like every season the men's volleyball team like gets sick one way or another. There's something like a flu bug. Like, I remember this happened with like Ilaiu Choi last season, and then also like Kurt Neustor got really sick, I think like one December. Like, guys, I don't know what's happening. I don't know. Like, I was someone that kept saying this last year, where I don't know if they got to go spray disinfectant in the stand, in the locker rooms or something, but whatever's going on, can we please just stay healthy for once, for an entire season? And like, the sniffles is one thing. Like, I get it. Like, you're an athlete, your sleep schedule's off. We all get like the sniffles here and there. But like, when the men's team gets sick, it's like, they're like throwing up. It's like really sick, where it really debilitates the way that they play. So Saturday, again, it's they drop, or they end this winning streak that they had, unfortunately. But the good thing is they still got one more weekend to play, and I think a lot of other things will be taken into account, and then they can redeem themselves in the Big West Conference tournament next week. But got to take care of business in front of the home crowd on senior weekend against CSUN. But yeah, that Saturday match was interesting.
Yeah, I think for the record, Justin Todd got hurt in warm-ups of that game. I don't think he was particularly sick. For Tread Rosenthal, I mean, he still went out there, so it's not like he was like totally sick. But the way I look at that game is that match that's kind of your scheduled match, or your scheduled loss that the University of Hawaii Rainbow Warriors kind of tend to take, where they kind of let the foot off the gas against a lesser opponent that they should beat on paper. And they kind of get humbled. We kind of saw it last year. I think they played Stanford, where it was a team that really didn't have power at home. But like, hey, if you're not playing your best, we're going to take advantage of that. And that's going to happen to the Rainbow Warriors. I do think it's really good, though, that Magnus was able to get some playing time, because there's how many matches now where I've seen Tread in the middle of a match go down. And there was one Sunday match, I can't remember, but I don't think Tread is 100%. So, I mean, and nobody is at this point in the season, but I do think it's important for Magnus to get those reps, because God forbid something happens to Tread Rosenthal, then there goes your quarterback, right? So I think this is a good moment. Try and get some of those backups in, and get them some learning experience and get them some reps, and probably also too, because Magnus getting playing time there is because next week is senior week, and Vladimir Cooper, who's like the one senior on this senior class, yeah. He is a setter too, so I probably would think that he's going to get some opportunities to set in this weekend against CSUN. But yeah, that I've seen Tread go down so many times. I mean, and I think there's times where I'm surprised that he even was left in the game. I mean, of course, he's a competitor, right? But yeah, this team, I mean, they're gonna be fine. They're gonna be fine. They usually take. I don't want to say it's a scheduled loss. I'm not saying that they're going out there to lose these games on purpose, but sometimes you just need to kind of get humbled a little bit, go back to the drawing board, and come back to form, right? And we'll see that against CSUN. I expect them to dominate both matches against CSUN this weekend at the stand. Final home matches of the season. They're going to put on a show for the fans. And they're playing against a CSUN team who's not too hot right now. So I expect them to come out here and dominate this weekend. And yeah.
All right, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we will tell you about the newest University of Hawaii men's basketball commitments that came in over the weekend. A couple of players to add to the... We got a lot of openings, let's just say the least. Pretty much only 2 players confirmed anyways in terms of returnees for the men's side. So we'll tell you about some of the new guys coming in when we come back on the Hawaii Sports Radio Network.
Fun Factory can't.
Back to more Wake Up in the Den with Ulei, Agbayani, and Paul Brecht on the Hawaii Sports Radio Network, streaming on hawaiisportsradio.com.
Welcome back to Wake Up in the Den. Kulule Agbayani and Michael Lasquero on the Hawaii Sports Radio Network. I actually did do new rejoins. I just haven't put them in yet. But we have that there with Michael Lasquero. Joining me in studio as Paul Brecht enjoys his paternity leave with his new family of 3 now. Welcome to the Hawaii Sports Radio Network team, to Melly, Heather Brecht once again. So family's doing great. And Paul has actually been, even though he's on paternity leave, he is work from home paternity leave. I feel like that's all of us here. It's like we can never actually take time off because we love what we do so much. So a shout out to Paul, who has still been very busy while he's busy taking care of his brand new baby girl. But as I told him before he kind of went on leave, I was like, from what I've heard, newborns pretty much like eat, sleep, and poop. So hopefully the same goes for your new baby girl, because then you will have a lot of downtime. And thankfully for technology and everything we do, being an all digital platform for the most part, he's able to just kind of pick up where we left off. We'll get to some of his write-ups in just a second about the newest commitments for the UH men's basketball team. But he also I saw put out a post for the Rainbow Wahine water polo team that won the Big West Championship yesterday. And so he's been still helping out with a lot of stuff. So shout out Paul for still being here, even though you're not here physically.
Yeah, shout out to Paul Brecht, who is not Hawaii Huddle, by the way, if anybody was wondering. But yeah, shout out to Paul Brecht.
Oh, sorry. I thought you were going to say more. I was like, oh, okay. No. All right. Moving on over to the UH men's basketball side again. Nothing for sure yet in terms of the official contract for head coach Eran Ganat, but as it came out last week that they being Matt Elliott and Coach Ganat, it was announced by the University of Hawaii that they had agreed to an extension in principle. So just got to finalize the last bit of details, but at least that was a good step to make sure that there is that continuity in place because the transfer portal, as we talk about, is entirely open right now. And so you need to make sure that there are coaches in place at this program. Now, I haven't gotten an update in terms of what's going on the women's side with the coaching finalists. I know last week Matt Elliott said that they would likely have finalists by now, but haven't seen any confirmation about that just yet. But for the men's side, as we know, coaching staff staying in place, aside from Brad Davidson, who announced a week or so ago that he is going over, or he's at USC now. But as long as the current coaching staff is there, let's go. And they are continuing to do the darn thing. So a couple of the announcements that came out over the weekend. Jaden Montagou from Point Loma, 6'3" guard that we are somewhat familiar with, considering Point Loma was continued to be the top team in the Pac West Conference for men's basketball. And then on the other side, got a 6'8" wing from Arizona State, Marcus Adams Jr. Marcus Adams kind of made multiple stops throughout college basketball, but finds his way here. I saw us that we got collabed with a post, and that's a big boy. So nice to have some some size that's going to be able to play there. It looks like he can shoot as well. So did deal with some injuries last season at Arizona State, but for the most part, getting some size there down low. As we mentioned, Zay Kerr and Tanner Cuff are currently the only for sure returnees here for the men's basketball program. Some entering the transfer portal, and then the others just out of eligibility. As we know, Aaron Hunkin-Clater, we're still waiting to see what happens with him. Hopefully he does come back, but again, everyone that does leave, we wish them all the best, but the show must go on, and the show has started to move on. So initial thoughts, Michael, when we saw this, especially going over to the Point Loma side, because that is a player and a program that we're a bit more familiar with here, covering HPU, and Point Loma just always being like that top caliber Pac West team on the men's and the women's basketball side. I'm actually in a lot of sports. Like Paul and I always joke, can they just like move up to Division I and do the UC San Diego thing already? Because they are just like pure domination at this point when it comes to Division II. But let's start off with Jaden Montagou.
Well, I also want to give a shout out to our Scotty Belknap, who's coming back from his mission. So we do have 5 players on the roster. just to be, we're not playing with 4 guys against 5 guys. So I just want to put it out there. We do have 5 guys on the roster. So if we just need to play a game, we do have 5 guys that can suit up against anybody.
No, I mean, I hope that we have more than 5 guys by the time the season comes around.
But I'm just saying we have enough players to suit up for a game when we're not having to drag Coach Gibson Johnson or Juan Munoz or Jovan McClanahan to do a scrimmage.
Well, Jovan's back playing professional. So,
yeah. But Jaden, what I like about Jaden is that he's kind of a dynamic guard. He did lead the Pac West, and I believe in assists per game, which is it's 2 different things. I just want to point that out. Someone was telling me that aren't they the same thing? No, it's 2 different things. But he can definitely distribute it. I mean, his turnover count is a bit high, but he's kind of one of those more modern point guards in the NBA where you're not really trying to direct the offense. You're kind of like going out there and getting yours, and kind of a scoring threat. But yeah, what I like about him is that he kind of, I don't want to say he's kind of like Dre Bullock, but he's maybe like Dre Bullock with a little bit more playmaking ability in terms of distributing the ball. But he definitely has the hops to kind of put the ball in the rim directly. So even caught a couple of alley-oops I saw. I mean, if you can also read Paul's write-up, but you can also go on our social medias and look at the little highlight clip that I put together. Shout out me, yay. But but yeah, what I do like about his skill set is that he doesn't. He's not like a direct replacement to guys like Aaron Hunkin-Clater or Ike Finlinson, right? So if those guys do come back or leave or just remove themselves from the transfer portal, like they still have a role because Aaron's more of a floor general where he can kind of set up the team and run the offense that way that Coach Gannat wants to. And Ike Finlinson, he's kind of more of a 3-and-D guy, somebody that can space the floor. So Jaden kind of fits in the middle of that. So he'd be a good guy. I know a lot of fans are concerned like, oh, he's Division II. We want to be getting Division I transfers and whatnot. But we got to realize that there is a hierarchy in college basketball, where players are moving their way up the ranks. We saw with HBU with Joshua West, working as an Amazon worker and we're Division III. And he came to Division II, and he probably could have got a Division I offer if if the HPU didn't get some funds to retain Joshua West. So that's just the way college athletics is now. People work their way up the tier, and you gotta kind of almost view it as a farm system or a minor league system. We see with Michigan, right? They get all their transfers. So yeah, I'm not too worried about Jaden being from Division II, but at the end of the day, you just want players that want it, right? And Jaden is definitely someone that wants it, and I like the get, and I don't think it's necessarily something that's gonna harm us or hurt us from acquiring bigger players from bigger schools.
Yeah, and he's to add on to like the point about Division II. Like it's for me, I've always, if you are a part of a top level program and you are one of the best players, like that means you're essentially on the bubble of being good enough to play Division I. And I only say he's on the bubble now because yes, he technically is not proven in a sense. He did actually do pretty well though against some Division I schools. He dropped 30 on Long Beach State, which I know is, Long Beach State was kind of but nonetheless, he still was able to face Division I talent. And so to me, it's like if you are a high level player on a Division II program, on a really good Division II program, won the Pac West, made it to the Sweet 16 in the NCAA tournament for Division II, all Pac West first team honors, like you can't say that, oh, he's a Division II guy, so he's not going to translate to Division I. No. And I'm not going to go out here and say like, oh, I guarantee that he will. But if you, again, my whole point is if you are a top level player on a top level team on the quote unquote secondary level, like you should have more faith and expectation that that type of player can transfer over or translate well into a higher level because they're there. Like where it's not like he is a bench player on a Division II team that like finished at the bottom of conference, right? Like that, then I would worry like, how is this person going to help us instantly? But when you are a top player on a top team who also dropped almost 30 points against HPU, like the guy has a lot of stats. I mean, he's very athletic. Like Michael said, go check out the highlights. If you actually go to HawaiiSportsRadio.com, Michael's tweet and highlight thing is embedded in there as well. So he is someone that got other Division I looks, right? 6'3" guard, considered Montana, Colorado State, UC Irvine, Cal State Fullerton. So it's not like Hawaii was the only Division I program that was like, oh, and I mean, considering Colorado State, who was a former Mountain West, because we all talk about, I know I see a lot of discourse with like, well, we're going into a better conference, which we are on paper, but Colorado State technically is going to another I don't want to even say better because they're not better than the Mountain West. They're the even conference. But for that type of school to have interest in this guard, that's why I don't buy where it's like people's reservation about the whole Division II argument, because I could understand it, once again, if it was for a player that was a player that came off the bench or maybe was a starter for like a team that did not win a lot of games, then I can understand more reservation. But when you're getting a good player on a good team that's used to winning, like he's not going to come to Hawaii and just be okay with losing, right? The guy wants to win. So that's the kind of players that we want here, that he clearly wants to be here and he didn't want to go to some of these other schools. And I'm sure these are just the ones that are publicly out there. But I'm really excited for this guy because it's a good balance whether or not, again, Aaron Huggins-Clater comes back, but it's a good kind of balance there to add in addition to Tanner Cuff and to Isaiah Kerr, right? And then working on the big guys down low, which is the other portion that Hawaii definitely needs. But then you have Marcus Adams Jr. as well, hoping that he stays healthy.
Yeah, and I want to go back to the whole Point Loma thing, and again, like you said, like Division II, you want top players, and I believe like top players are going to be top players. The one thing that I do think that is a fair criticism is that Point Loma was a stacked team, right? I think you had 4 players got Pac West honors, and some nights Jaden was not the best player on that team. I'm not saying he had a bad game. I'm just saying some nights other players were better, and that is a fair criticism, because right now with the current roster construct of the University of Hawaii men's basketball team, like we don't know what his final role is on the team, right? Like we don't know if he's projected to be a starter. We don't know if he's projected to be a 6-man or where in the depth chart he is, and that's where it's kind of a question mark for us, right? I mean, go back to 2 recruiting classes ago, or transfer classes ago, when we got someone like Tanner Christensen that started off as that guy as the first guy that was announced as part of that transfer portal class. It's like, great, right? Like this is a good foundational piece to build on. I didn't expect that to be just the piece that we got, right? Because when we got down to the nitty-gritty and we're depending on Tanner Christensen to give us 15 points and 10 rebounds, he wasn't delivering down the stretch. So I think that's where some of the hesitation is. So it's going to depend on what kind of recruits come in or transfers come in the rest of the portal cycle, right? And right now I think what I'm expecting, and hopefully we get either at least one of Ike Finlinson back or Aaron Huggins-Clater back. I feel good about that. But now, if Jaden has to be that starter, then that's where I kind of like, okay, well, I mean, I'm not saying he doesn't have the potential, but it's just a bit of an unknown right now. Like we said, we're going to another conference.
Yeah, but I mean, that's literally the transfer portal just opened. So I don't even think it's even worth the breath or the brain power to try to think of where he fits in, because and it's kind of like where I tell everybody too, it's like, well, don't start freaking out or worrying about the team until we start hitting the summer, right? Because there's still other guys that are going to come in and maybe come back and all of that stuff. And we won't know until we get kind of towards the end of the cycle. I mean, we didn't get Gitas Namiksha back until late in the summer, right? Who he ended up just being a complimentary piece. He wasn't like the guy that we saw 2 seasons ago, because the level of talent that came in this past season was elevated, where Gitas was just now coming off the bench. And it was just such a change and a stark contrast to what we had seen from the previous season. So either way, yeah, like it's fun still to get excited, but it's more of like me saying like, oh, don't worry about this, is more of just everyone having like these harsh criticisms already on like the talent that's coming in when the portal just literally opened, and there's like probably still like over 1,000 guys in Division I that are in the transfer portal. So we'll see what happens, but at least there are stuff that are happening. And again, a lot of that goes back to at least the coaching staff staying in place. I mean, just like Marcus Adams Jr., like on paper, he looks great, right? Like to be someone with that size. Again, seeing some clips of him on social media, the guy can move for his size, but if you're just going to go by last season, the guy wasn't on the court for a lot of the time, right? So it's like you can get excited by by certain pieces coming in, but the work doesn't stop. Like I hope they're not suiting up just 5 players. That's definitely not the case. They got a lot of room to add to this roster for the men's basketball team, but we'll continue to keep you updated and continue to keep Paul very, very busy, even though he is work from home paternity leave at this point. And by the way, this is just so everyone knows that like I'm not like being a slave driver to the poor new dad. Like, this is Paul Brecht's doing. I appreciate it, but again, it's like I don't think he could sit still and just like, especially when I don't know. Some new parents out there can just stare at their sleeping baby, but for Paul, it's like I think there's only so much you can stare at your sleeping baby until you're like, all right, I got to kind of do something else. So,
well, I think it helps that his mom and father-in-law is here. So let's hopefully we get a lot of these transfers coming then, because when they're not here, then I don't expect Paul to be on his Michael Jordan flu game in terms of that department. So that's why I'm hoping we get some news later today, and then Paul, while his parentals are and Morgan's parentals is here, that we can get Paul in his bag.
All right, let's talk. We're going to take a break. When we come back, let's talk a little bit of Rainbow Wahine water polo because, the ladies came out with the three-peat of the Big West Conference Tournament Championship. Woohoo! Continuing their winning ways and everything that was originally started by Coach Mo, and James Robinson picked up where she left off. So when we come back, we'll let you hear from head coach James Robinson and what he had to say following that match, and also the MVP, Agatha Weston, who you guys can hear and look at our write-up featuring Aggie Weston on our Mana Wahine Wednesday tab at hawaiisportsradio.com. But we're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back on the Hawaii Sports Radio Network.
DSE Hawaii.
Back to more Wake Up in the Den with ulei Agbayani and Paul Brecht on the Hawaii Sports Radio Network. Streaming live at hawaiisportsradio.com and on demand wherever you get most podcasts.
Welcome back to all of you. The beautifulest of all the beautiful people. It's Wake Up in the Den, Ku'ule Agbayani and Michael Lasquero on the Hawaii Sports Radio Network, streaming on hawaiisportsradio.com and via our Hawaii Sports Radio Network app, and streaming live on our YouTube channel. So thank you guys for hanging out with us this and every Monday on YouTube, or every weekday morning live from 8 to 10. But you can also listen back on demand, except for Friday. Everything wonky that happened, and then our recording did not record. So Friday was a little. I'm blaming on the rain weather that happened Friday.
Blame it on the
because when I went to check our recording, I was like, oh. All right, well, no Friday show, so that's why you still want to listen live in case you miss anything and it doesn't get recorded. But at least this time is the regular system that records it. We're here on YouTube. So again, every Monday on our YouTube show, and yeah, it's gonna be fun. It's fun hanging out with you guys. But going now over to talk some Rainbow Wahine water polo just to close out this hour. Mainly want to let you guys hear some post game from head coach James Robinson and Agatha Weston. So the Rainbow Wahine 14-9 over Long Beach State yesterday to claim their third straight Big West Conference title, punching their ticket into the NCAA tournament with the selection show coming up this afternoon at 2:00 p.m. But it was a relatively close game throughout, and then the Rainbow Wahine just did Rainbow Wahine things and were able to pull away. But the game itself, like taking a look at the final stats, I mean, Long Beach State actually had more shots than Hawaii. Hawaii just able to be a bit more efficient, so 31 to 27 shots, about exclusions about the same. I know some of the top players, if you guys aren't familiar with some, if you get like major exclusions, then similar to basketball, where if you get, at least in water polo, if you get 3, then you foul out. Same thing like basketball, but basketball has a little bit more. So it was like there were times where some of Hawaii's best players weren't in the game because they had like those 2 exclusions where they could only give 1 more. So it's kind of interesting to see things play out down the stretch. But just like we talk about with some of the other teams at UH, this Rainbow Wahine squad having a lot of depth. So for the most part, it was a good effort by the Rainbow Wahine, and just 3 straight, man, continuing the success. I mean, we're borderlining now on that. I mean, are we at that dynasty talk? Because technically they should be staying in the Big West, because as we know, the Mountain West does not sponsor water polo, and it's one of the sports staying over in the Big West, and the Big West adding some more teams, but also losing some other teams. But seeing Dan Butterly was on at halftime of the match yesterday saying that this could be affiliate type of sport with all of the movement and with not every school sponsoring women's water polo. But I mean, it's nice for us because they continue to dominate.
Yeah, I mean, it's a dynasty across with 2 different coaches, you know, because shout out to Coach Mo 2 years ago, winning that in her final year. So yeah, it's a dynasty. I don't see why not. When Matt Elliott took over as athletic director, he said they're going to win championships, and they've proven that so far with, with the men's and women's dive team and men's basketball team, and we got women's water polo team as well. So just stacking up the championships, stacking up the rings.
Sorry, I laugh because I always go back to anytime someone says we're going to win championships, I have like PTSD because everyone got hyped when Norm Chow came here and said, we're going to win championships. And that did not go on very good. But I appreciate the optimism. As always, we want to say that should be the goal. But every time it's like, just don't end up like the Norm Chow era where he said we were going to win championships, and that didn't exactly work out.
Well, we've already surpassed the Norm Chow championship counts here at with Matt Elliott. So I don't know why we want to bring up that time of Hawaii history when Norm Chow was going to dominate here with his USC playbook and whatnot. And yeah, that was not but I am interested to see. I mean, we kind of just totally went off the rails, but I am interested to see the economic study report that University of Hawaii's enjoyed after this year, because the last time they did it was when Norm Chow only had 1 win. So speaking of Norm Chow, I'm excited to see what it's going to be like when Hawaii is winning multiple championships this year and we won a Hawaii Bowl. So.
All right, going back to this championship, though, with women's water polo, again, 3rd straight, and extended the program's winning streak in Big West competition to 29 29 guys consecutive victories back to 2024 against Big West competition. But now it's time to the kind of the testament, or what the team has been saying though, is that they're excited to just spend 2 more weeks at least together that they can look forward to. But just real quick, want to play some snippets for you of the post game. Again, this is via the broadcast there at Long Beach State on ESPN Plus. We'll start off first with head coach James Robinson and what he had to tell the broadcasters in that post game, and just here it is.
James Robinson, you guys have won 3 in a row overall as a program. Second for you as head coach. Put into words what it's like to win today.
It feels great. I mean, any time that you can win your conference and advance to the national championship tournament is the goal, right? It's the goal for this group every year. So we're going to enjoy this one for sure. Take a little bit of time and then we'll reset, but this feels good.
Speaking of feeling good, you jumped in the pool. I think you did a little bit of an outfit change. Are you cold? Are you warm now? What's it like?
I was very cold getting out with the wet shirt on, but changing into the dry one, it feels okay. Yeah.
Did you have a better jump this year now that's your second year?
I don't know. They're both awesome. I mean, last year was such a fun group as well, but this year every team is unique. Every year is its own, and getting to have these moments, it feels great every time.
And what's the transition been like from assistant coach taking over as a head coach, keeping that tradition for Hawaii to win the Big West?
I mean, so much credit to Coach Mo, who built this program before me. I was given a program that was in great shape, was used to success, and just the job was to take it and run and try to get better every year. And I think we've been doing a really good job of maintaining that consistency, and this is the goal every year.
Speaking of the goal, you move on to the national tournament next week. Thoughts about that?
Super excited. I mean, anytime you get to play on the national stage, extend your season by 2 more weeks, it's lucky, right? Every group I said, you only get to be together for 1 year, and so you want to be together as long as you can. And so we'll take some time, we'll enjoy this, and then we'll hit a hard reset when we get back to Honolulu, and we'll see who we're going to play against, and then we'll be ready to go.
Thank you very much, and good luck and congratulations.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Goal. And that was UH Women's Water Polo head coach James Robinson and what he had to say after their match yesterday. Now here is the MVP of the tournament, Agatha Weston.
Zach Anderson, Yoxheimer alongside the Big West Championship MVP, Agatha Weston. Put it into your own words, Agatha, what it means to win here in Long Beach today.
Oh, it's just so special. This team's worked so hard and we just have so much fun every time we play. And I think we really pulled out a team effort today, which makes the win even sweeter. And yeah, it's so much fun to be part of this group, and go Bows.
It's 3 in a row for you guys. What is it like to continue to win year after year and continue as the favorite?
Yeah, I think we do a really good job of just staying present and staying in the moment and leading with a gratitude attitude, and I think that's what gets through, and it's each game at a time, each season at a time, and let's keep going.
Any final words for you guys next week and seeing where you guys go to La Jolla?
No, I think we're all just so excited to get another 2 weeks together. Like, we all love each other. We're sisters. 2 more weeks together is so special. And back to work and see you in the pool.
And that was UH Women's Water Polo Utility, Agatha Weston, following that win for the Big West Conference Tournament Championship. So shout out once again to the Rainbow Wahine Water Polo team. And we await who they will face in the NCAA tournament coming up later this afternoon. And we'll tell you guys about that tomorrow. So, but for now, we got to take a break. We'll be right back for hour number 2 on the Hawaii Sports Radio Network.
You're listening to the Hawaii Sports Radio Network, streaming 24/7 at hawaiisportsradio.com and on the new Hawaii Sports Radio app.
Welcome back to Wake Up in the Den, hour number 2. I'm ulei Agbayani alongside Michael Lasquero on the Hawaii Sports Radio Network, streaming on hawaiisportsradio.com, the Hawaii Sports Radio Network app, and streaming live on our YouTube channel as we do every single Monday. Thank you guys for hanging out with us. Make sure you guys can feel free to chime in on the YouTube chat, or you can text us at 808-888-5481. That's 808-888-5481 if you do want to get in on the conversation. We already got a lot of stuff through in hour number 1. We kind of did a general weekend recap, which kind of left out some stuff, actually, now that I think about it. We talked about the newest University of Hawaii men's basketball commits. Remember, you can go on our social media or on our website at hawaiisportsradio.com to check those out. You can also check out Paul Brecht's basketball tracker as well for all of you men's basketball fans out there. So go back and listen or watch to all the stuff that we had to tell you about the newest recruits coming in. We also talked some women's water polo as the ladies three-peated. Coming up in this hour, we'll get into some HPU softball. So just a reminder that we are playing ball today. Despite the weather, head coach Alex Takemura had a chance to check out the field this morning. So we play on that the field is good enough to play. I got the text from the Bailey Furman that we are good to go. So Kyle Galdera and Michael Lasquero will have your call this afternoon starting at noon, presented by Hawaii Pacific Health. So we'll talk about some HPU softball coming up a little later in this hour. I also wanted to play for you guys a little snippet from Sharks Weekly with Alex Takemura, just because it's despite what the record reflects, I do like the positivity that is being portrayed and being felt within the program, and all of the little victories that they continue to get to have for themselves, to keep them going. Because as somebody who did also go through the same thing when playing Division II soccer, you gotta make sure you take certain victories, and I know as a competitive person, even Paul and I joke about it, like moral victories, you don't always want to say moral victories, but at this point and at this level, definitely a lot to take out of it. So we'll talk some HPU softball coming up. We'll get into some NBA playoff stuff in just a second, and again, feel free to text in. I also wanted to kind of nerd out with you guys a little bit and talk about the one of the biggest things that happened over the weekend, in my opinion. They circled the moon. We had astronauts circling the moon over the weekend. So that's kind of also like I said, we'll push some of the NBA stuff a little later, because some of the things that we didn't get into in hour number 1, and maybe it worked out to start off hour number 2 this way, because successfully I was in this office and I kind of nerded out, and I even texted you guys that am I that big of a nerd that I quite literally waved out my window when Orion was making its way back into the Earth's atmosphere, and because their entry point was just south of Hawaii, and then they ended up closer to the to San Diego areas where they got taken out of the capsule and everything, but successfully everyone's healthy, everyone's alive, nothing crazy, but 4 humans that essentially are the furthest humans to ever travel away from Earth, as they went around the moon with the Artemis II mission. So, but I understand, Michael, that you're not as much of a space nerd as I am.
I mean, it's just not something that I could see myself getting into in the future. I don't see myself going into the spaceship. I'll watch a documentary on it, but if you want me to have the live, sports coverage and being attentive to it, I probably won't be, but it's cool. But I guess my algorithm is not showing me it, so that's maybe why I'm not as into it. But yeah, my algorithm hasn't shown me it. But shout out, the state of Hawaii did produce an astronaut, so shout out to anyone that wants to be an astronaut and explore space. But my thing is, I thought we're supposed to have people on the moon by now, or living colonies, or people on Mars. That's kind of we're kind of slacking. We just got Space Force. Is it Space Force?
Well, let me break it to you, Michael. It's kind of expensive to go to the moon, so that's kind of why we're
Okay.
Like everyone that's like, why did we not go to the moon more often? Again, someone that nerds out on this stuff is because they had to, essentially back then they had to beat the Soviet. It's all about being the first, right? Like even now they kind of they're pushing for the whole moon thing now because China is like working on their own stuff. So the U.S. doing U.S. things, and it's like we got to be the first. So they had to beat the Soviets back then. And it's really expensive to go to the moon.
Okay.
So hence why they don't go often.
So now you just opened the can of worms for me to go in because like,
Oh, no.
what is the mission objective for this Artemis mission? Because like you said, it's expensive. Like that could be going towards housing, affordable housing. That could be going for tax relief. Gas is expensive right now, over here on Hawaii. So like, there's a lot of, oil. There's this stuff. So if we're spending this money on the Artemis mission and it's expensive, and we're trying to beat Russia, we're trying to beat China. Like what is the mission objective of this mission?
Hydrogen 3.
Well, the beautiful people doesn't know what that is.
Excuse me, not hydrogen, helium 3. Like things that you can mine on the moon. And again, some people, and I understand, I'm not going to be an astronaut, and I understand people, we talk about this when it comes to sports, like wanting to spend certain money on other things, and I get that, but essentially there is a mission, but because they felt like they could put it off until you have another country attempting to get there first, which is why they accelerate it, and then they go back to making it a thing. So that's your
it sounds like
space
the
history
transfer portal.
lesson. Anyways,
but
I
want
wanted
to
to
talk about the weekend in pop culture, right? You talk about things being expensive.
No,
I was
hold
gonna
on.
talk about Coachella.
Hold on. I didn't finish my science stuff yet.
Okay.
Because I wanted to play for everybody, because I get it. Like, despite everything you feel and despite the craziness that is going on, I do think the human feat of it and the people that went up and just the representation of all the astronauts in today's crazy world, right? You had a woman up there when it felt like back then they were like, women can't go because of things, because of women things that you can't deal with in space, was kind of their excuse, that women shouldn't go to space for all of this stuff. And so you had a woman you had a Canadian, so you had America and Canada working together, crazy. And so it was just a good representation of everything that makes pretty much just life beautiful. And I wanted to share a little snippet from what the pilot on the Artemis II mission, again, if you guys aren't familiar with it, Artemis II is the mission. Orion is the space shuttle thing itself, the capsule, and then Integrity is what they call is what the crew name that they gave to their shuttle, in case you kind of hear different names, because I know it kind of can get confusing, but I'm the nerd that keeps up with all of that stuff, so I found it really interesting. Anyways, but this is, so like that's the crew, shout out to the crew from the Artemis II mission, but I also wanted to kind of play like this little snippet for you guys, because, and this was prior to Easter weekend, so I want to make sure I say that because it will sound a little outdated, but this is from Victor Glover. He is the pilot of the Orion and of this Artemis II mission. And I just think it's a really good message to send out there to everybody about what's, like, I guess the just coming together and how beautiful it is to live on this planet. So giving our positivity here. So here is what Victor Glover had to say from the space station. Again, this was prior to Easter weekend.
I'm glad you brought that up, though. I think these observances are important, and as we are so far from Earth and looking back at, the beauty of creation, I think for me, one of the really important personal perspectives that I have up here is I can really see Earth as one thing. And, when I read the Bible and I look at all of the amazing things that were done for us who were created, it's, you have this amazing place, this spaceship. You guys are talking to us because we're in a spaceship really far from Earth, but you're on a spaceship called Earth that was created to give us a place to live in the universe, in the cosmos. I think maybe the distance we are from you makes you think what we're doing is special, but we're the same distance from you. And I'm trying to tell you, just trust me, you are special. In all of this emptiness, this is a whole bunch of nothing, this thing we call the universe. You have this oasis, this beautiful place that we get to exist together. I think as we go into Easter Sunday, thinking about, all the cultures all around the world, whether you celebrate it or not, whether you believe in God or not, this is an opportunity for us to remember where we are, who we are, and that we are the same thing and that we got to get through this together.
See? I love that. That was Victor Glover, pilot of the Artemis II mission, and they all made it back here safely. We're all part of this together, everybody, on the positive note. And that's what I wanted to share with everyone because, yes, I grew up a astronomy nerd. Now, I had a brief stint where I kind of did want to be an astronaut, and I really, really wanted to go to space camp at one point of my life. I don't know if it's maybe that's maybe the part native Hawaiian in me that I'm fascinated by the stars, and I think it's so cool that navigation of the stars and how they found Hawaii in the first place and how all of our ancestors were able to do that. So I've always loved the stars, and shout out to my parents because they would take me to the Bishop Museum, and I would one of my favorite places to go as a kid was the planetarium at Bishop Museum. So I just loved everything about space and all of that stuff. And I don't know, yeah, that's just me nerding out. And I am obsessed with, I have to buy the little doll of the mission 2 called Rise. It's the little moon doll. And I don't know, I'm just fascinated. Now, will I ever want to go to space? No, because I'm already scared to fly on an airplane. Now I will probably never want to go to space, but I did think that was a very good perspective, though, from those that have now traveled the furthest from Earth, is that when they're looking down on Earth and there's all this nothingness in the sky, and maybe that's why I appreciate this world and the universe, is because we are just this little planet in this endless universe, and there is still left to see and everything like that. So yeah, I'm just kind of a nerd when it comes to all of this astronomy stuff. I had a telescope in my backyard when I was a kid, and I would look at the moon all the time and look at all the different craters. And so when it comes to all of this stuff, that's why I'm just fascinated that I nerd out on everything. So thank you guys for letting me share that with you.
Okay, I have a legitimate question. I'm not trying to make trouble or anything like that, right? But you said something just I was okay. Well, but I mean, you're a space nerd. I'm giving you that, right? But you did mention Native Hawaiian and how they used to look at the stars and whatnot. So, what is your? I mean, I don't want to get much in trouble, but so how what is your thoughts on we had TMT and all that, and because I mean, I do think we should explore, right? But then you talk about being Native Hawaiian. So, what was your thoughts on when that was going on?
Honestly, you feel for the people and you feel for everyone. I think watching everything play out in that moment, I felt more for the law enforcement, because I didn't know enough about what was going on and that's how I am with a lot of political things, is I'm not one that goes all in on any direction if I don't fully understand both sides. So when it comes to that portion of it, and again, my job is to talk about sports. I can have a firm opinion on any side because that's what I do every day. But that stuff, to me, falls on the side of being a very political thing. So I don't really I didn't dive into both sides. I talked to people from both sides. I read stuff from both sides, and I do stand on the side where, because just a brief thing of what back then what I was reading was some of the reservation was, all right, we don't want to contaminate Mauna Kea and the mountain, which I totally understood. But then when you read the research plans, a lot of it was they weren't going to necessarily put the waste into the mountain. There was a truck that would carry the human waste or whatever waste off of the mountain into where it needed to go, down, so there's different sides, because I understand it both. But I think when everything all of that was playing out, I just felt for a lot of the police officers that had to arrest the kupuna and to arrest their own people, standing up for what they believed in. And shout out to all of the local people and the Hawaiians, because in true form, everything was peaceful, right? But it was just very, very sad to watch it all play out, right? But when it comes to whether I'm for it or not, I can't have a strong opinion either way, because you're right. I am someone that appreciates the science of it all and studying the universe, but I do think you have to be sensitive two cultural things. And like I said, I wasn't engraved and researched enough to have a strong opinion either way. So it's like this side, of course, I understand with the Native Hawaiians and how it felt for them, and continues to feel, and the pushback. Like, I'm not saying they shouldn't stand up for all the stuff that they believe in. But yeah, for sure, like that was definitely a sensitive subject with everything that's going on. Like, but at the same time, like I had family that went up there, and then I supported them for going up there, right? Like, I think that's well within your right. That's well within your right, obviously, as an American, and definitely as a Native Hawaiian or a supporter of Native Hawaiians and what they believe Mauna Kea to represent. But yeah, it's just one of those where, man, it's because science is always evolving, studying the universe, right? Like if something like that can predict if an asteroid is coming our way, right,
sure,
to save humanity. But I don't know if that was something they said to push their agenda. Like, that's just like, there's so much that I didn't know about what was going on at that time. But I supported the cause in a sense that I support the Native Hawaiians and the people that went out there to stand up for what they believed in, to protect the sacred land that is Mauna Kea. So it's like, I maybe not would like out there protesting per se, but definitely when it all unfolded, it was just really, really sad to see. Again, I've probably felt the most for those that had to get arrested, and for those that had to be the law enforcement to arrest their like family members, essentially, right? Because the government is saying like, this is illegal and you need to do what you need to do. But yeah,
that's a really good point about the law enforcement, because if there's anything positive I'm going to say about this whole conversation is that, like, I know that's kind of a sore subject, or I don't want to say eyesore, but the way that they handle themselves, I think that should be a teach tape that is forwarded across the entire country, because in terms of de-escalation, right? And, we're all positive here, so I think, that's one way to show love while still doing your job and not being, I forgot, I don't know if we're on YouTube, I don't know what words I can say, but yeah, without being a jerk about what you're doing. So yeah, pretty good.
All right, wow, we just totally got away from sports.
But Coachella, guys,
from the literal stars to celebrity, I will say. I will not call. That was one thing my dad told me, like when I was little, and at the time I didn't understand it, but now when I'm older, like every other dad-ism that he would say, when I would talk about celebrities as the stars, my dad would always be like, they're not stars. Stars are in the sky. They're celebrities. So we'll go from stars to celebrities. Coachella. I mean, quite the contrast of Sabrina Carpenter, headliner, and the show that was, to Justin Bieber and his YouTube performance.
Yeah, well, everyone complaining about Justin Bieber being lazy. Well, that's on you for spending that much money on Coachella, because you could have just had the experience at home. But that was very. If you like Justin Bieber growing up, or the mid 2010s, that was like really good and very wholesome. Was it lazy? Maybe, but he also sold his catalog, so he can't actually perform those songs without paying whoever he sold the catalog to some royalties. So
he can perform it. It's just that the people who owns the catalog will get the royalties from those songs if he performs it.
Yeah. So, but he
doesn't pay.
He doesn't got the workaround by going on YouTube. But that was kind of cool, Shout out to the video person. That was some really nice shots they were doing. But yeah, that was a really fun time. But it's always funny to see people like complain, and then you see people that, oh, it's deeper than that. There's some hidden meaning behind it. But yeah, a lot of busy weekend. But shout out to Tyler Arnold for HPU. He set the new home run record, program all-time record in home runs in a year and a half. Just a sophomore with 24, and he did it in a grand fashion, because he hit it with a grand slam. And I've personally been there when he hit a walk-off grand slam for the win, I think against UH Hilo as a freshman. So shout out to HPU as they took two against Biola on Saturday to put them up 2-1, and hopefully they can get the series win later today, which is starting at 11 a.m. Hawaii time. So if they can get that series win, that'll be a good stop for them, because they're we talk about in the first hour, but University of Hawaii baseball team needing to be in the top 5. For HPU, you got to be in the top 4 to make the postseason. So they have a bit of a hill to climb. But yeah, busy weekend. I do want to shout out Agatha Weston, who was the MVP of the tournament, because she was sidelined, was out of the pool last year for the most part, I think, to an injury. So for her to come out here and get a solid, be a big role in this tournament run goes to show you the depth for this team. I don't know if we played it in the Avail last week, but this women's water polo team has international flair. I'm going to use the word international a lot in this next 30 minutes, hinting at something that I probably should be hinting at. But yeah, you look at Emma Vernou, who's a sophomore. She scored the first Olympic goal for France 2 years ago. So that's kind of cool. So yeah, that's shout out to the ladies in the pool, and hopefully they get a good draw later today, because if they're we talk. I mean, not to bring up Norm Chow again in hour number 2, but that would be something for Matt Elliott, to bring home a national title in his first year.
I know Matt Elliott just got super lucky with a lot of this stuff.
Lucky, Koo. It's about creating an environment.
Yes and no.
Lucky. Matt, just let you know, I don't think it was lucky. I think, good things happen to good people.
Because Matt Elliott is out there coaching these sports and recruiting these players. Got it.
I just don't think lucky is the word I would use.
All right, fortunate then. He's very fortunate.
Yes, fortunate.
There we go. He's fortunate to experience a lot of these wins here, because again, shout out, and once again, I know Matt Elliott is working on his own wins. Like going back to last season, he got football for free for all of the fans, no pay-per-view anymore. Working on what seems to be like a really awesome local media rights deal coming up. All of that stuff. So he is definitely working on wins of his own. But yes, got really fortunate. We're not even hitting a year yet, and got a chance to tally a lot of wins that a lot of these coaches and players, all the work that they've been putting in here. But yes, breathing into this environment and continuing the winning ways that is the University of Hawaii, where I will always say, I mean, they're continuing to overachieve with this program, and even though they have to travel the furthest of any schools. No problem for us Hawaii people here. All right, going over now, let's chit chat real quick about some professional sports, as we got the NBA playoffs. Right here, where I joked in the beginning of the show, this is when basketball or NBA season starts for me. This is when I start to kind of actually watch NBA games, because when the NBA season starts, there's a lot of other stuff going on, including football to keep up with. So then that's why I'm just all right, I gotta, now that basketball season, college basketball season, aside from the recruiting aspect, still has come to an end. And then we have our diamond sports as well, and our high school sports. But NBA, it's sometimes when you tune in to regular season games, you don't know whether or not you're going to get a good game, or whether who's in, what players actually want to play. So I don't really spend too much of my mental bandwidth on the NBA regular season, but I do love the playoffs, because this is when they actually do come to play every game, where you can expect something good in terms of effort. I know sometimes they're going to amount to blowouts, that's just how it is. But at least the effort is put out there in the NBA playoffs. So taking a look at what's coming up here this weekend with the play-in tournament. Shout out Orlando Magic. Orlando Magic. We got the Ku'ulei versus Zora Ned in the play-in game between the Sixers and the Magic on the Eastern Conference side. That's your 7 and 8, and then your 9-10 is the Hornets versus the Heat on the Western Conference side. It's so weird, because it's before we would say our LA Clippers. Nope, not anymore. So LA Clippers versus the Golden State Warriors are your 9-10 on the Western Conference side play-in tournament. And then the Suns Trail Blazers are your 7-8. Your top seeds for each side, you got the Thunder, no surprise there, finishing off the regular season 64-18, number 1 seed in the West. The Pistons are your 1 seed on the other side. Unfortunately, as I do love that Michael wore his Pacers hat and theme colors today, considering they had the opposite season of last year and, dealing with some injuries. So, but we'll see with Paul Brecht's team there, the 3 seed in the New York Knicks, who will face the 6 seed Hawks. The Celtics are the 2 seed and will face the winner of the Sixers Magic. And with the play-in tournament, as we know that the losers from each play-in game will play each other for that 8th seed and will play the top seed. So you got the Cavs and Raptors as the 4-5 on the Western Conference side. You got the Lakers and Rockets are your 4-5, and the Nuggets and T-Wolves are your 3 and 6, and then the Spurs, your 2 seed there, heading into the NBA playoffs. And no surprise that the Thunder are the plus 120 favorite to win the NBA playoffs. Followed not too far behind, though, by the Spurs at plus 450 and the Celtics up there at plus 550. Then you kind of have your double-digit drop-off to the Nuggets at 10-1, the Cavs at 15-1, and Pistons, Knicks at 18-1. Go Knicks. Get it. I don't think I ended up sending Paul this video, but it was just a funny video of like the dad. This was at a game though, and I think it was at baseball where the dad, and to be fair, this was like a toddler, like maybe the kid was like 3, had him in his arm, like celebrating, jumping up and down, and the poor kid is like crying. And I'm like, you know what? I know Paul will be a little more calm, but I would like a reaction video where it's like now that baby Melly's in the picture and like how Paul would react, or he would be the dad. What team was it where the dad was like celebrating while the baby was sleeping, but then he was like quietly celebrating, like this is what's going to happen. We need a Paul Brecht kind of video of that now that baby Melly's in the picture and how crazy he gets when the New York Knicks play. He already gets crazy in the regular season, but like playoff Knicks basketball is different in the Brecht household. So I'm very curious to see how Paul is going to handle that now that the playoffs are here.
Yeah, I got no comment because in the past 2 seasons, my team has limited Paul Brecht, so I really can't comment because I do want good vibes from my team when we are healthy next year. But I'm surprised. I mean, I don't think OKC is going to repeat. There's no way that OKC is going to repeat. I think I think there are going to be a lot of fans that complain about the falls that SJ gets that might change the whistle in this postseason. I do think the smart play is Denver. They are a team that nobody wants to see in the playoffs, and they're pretty much stacked down, right? It's just going to be depending on what center matchups does Nikola Jokic face in the playoffs, because if Nikola Jokic has to put more effort on defense, that takes away what makes him so special on offense. So yeah, I think the Nuggets is a safe bet if you want to put some money on that legally, however you get that. I know we're in Hawaii where there's some restrictions here, but yeah, it's kind of interesting that I think the other team that you should probably like maybe put into maybe even reach the finals is the Detroit Pistons. They are the number 1 seed. They are getting no love, and they're the number 1 seed even after their MVP Cade Cunningham had to miss some time because of a collapsed lung, not even a basketball injury. So that's a team that I would think that is kind of scary. You would want to put them on there. They could have beat the Knicks last year, I believe, in the postseason in the first round. So they're a team that's on the rise. I think the Detroit Pistons is a team that's being slept on. The Boston Celtics, they have on paper they look good, but they're shaky. Joe Mazzulla's a weird. I like his coaching style, but he's a bit weird. And if Jason Tatum gets in his head again about Jaylen Brown and whatnot, it's a weird dynamic there. So I'm not betting or anything, but I'm just saying, like, if you want to like maybe get some money or get some dividends, I would sprinkle some money on the Denver Nuggets and the Detroit Pistons.
All right, that'll be interesting. The Pistons.
They're number 1. They're number 1 in the East.
I know, but it's like we just haven't. I feel like they haven't been. I mean, I know they've been teetering around, but like just for them to be the number 1, I'm like, whoa, when did that happen?
Also, if you are a LeBron hater and a Michael Jordan fan, maybe you want to root for Cleveland Cavaliers, because if Cleveland somehow wins the title, then that kind of like lessens LeBron's legacy of bringing a title to Cleveland. Because last I checked, the only 6 championships that the Chicago Bulls won has because Michael Jordan was there. So that's if you like to watch, if you don't have a dog in the fight, you just like to hate watch. That's another reason to hate watch. If you want to root for a team.
I like that. I guess it's an encouraging way to hit it. I'm neither here nor there when it comes to LeBron James. I am more of a Michael Jordan / Kobe Bryant stan than LeBron, of course, but the guy was good in this era. I'm obviously also more of a Steph Curry fan as well, but
yeah, Steph Curry, you're in the 10th seed, bro. You gotta do something, or because if you don't make it, if you don't even get out of the play-in, the next Steph Curry, what you got to do is you got to go to your front office and tell them to trade Draymond, because so far he's been more effective as a podcaster than he is on the floor.
Those guys are retiring there. They're just chilling at this point.
You need to maximize
Steph Curry's been like injured a lot of this season.
As long as LeBron is playing, Steph Curry gotta go for it.
And at least they were able to win their title without Kevin Durant, right? Like they were able they were able to like get that out. Like it's not like they can always look back and be like, well, it's only with Kevin Durant. So at least they were able to do that without. And Kevin Durant hasn't won his own title with another team ever since leaving Golden State. So,
but I think Steph. So the thing with Steph Curry and his play style is that you could pretty much put him on any team, and I think he'll be effective because of his skill set with shooting and being also not being have to need the ball, and he can also generate his own shot. So. Like Steph Curry, like you can go out there and get a 5th title. If you can get a 5th title, that just boosts your legacy like even more because that'll be one more title that LeBron doesn't have, and you will always be seen as the guy that LeBron had a hard time beating. So I think if Steph Curry like wins another title, that like puts him on like top 5 level.
Steph Curry never went to 50 bajillion teams.
Exactly. You win 5 titles with the same team. Cool. Like that puts you in the conversation of like top 15 to like top 5.
I still think he's like in that conversation considering he is the best shooter of all time.
He's not in any top 5 conversations.
But he's still the best shooter of all time and he won championships.
Yes. But you want to like Michael Jordan said, right? If he knew that LeBron was coming up, he probably wouldn't have retired. So you got like Steph Curry, you got to stack.
We're going to agree to disagree on this because it's kind of the same argument where people just say like LeBron James is like this awesome player. But I always make the case. I'm like, well, the guy is built like he's like God-given like physique that he has. Like you better be the best player out there if you have that type of body where it's like you have someone like Steph that had to work to be the best shooter in the league and work on a very specific skill set. And I'm not saying that, Steph Curry is better than LeBron by any means. Like again, they're two different types of players. But I'm like, I still think he's in the conversation when he has the record by far of a game that relies on shooting.
For sure.
He is the best, and he's won championships. Multiple championships.
I'm just saying, as a Steph Curry fan, wouldn't it be nice to see him win another title?
Yes, but I still think he's in the. That's where I push back on you, though, where I'm like, I still think he's in the top 5 conversation because he's won multiple titles, because he's won titles without Kevin Durant, and because he holds the record and will hold the record for a very long time on 3-point shooting. Like he's the best at what he does.
All right, chat. Who's your top 5? Who's your top 5 right now, Ku, in the NBA? Like all-time NBA.
Well, now I have to say Steph, of course, is in there. But like I can't rank them, right? Like
no rank. Just your top 5.
Let's see. Steph, Michael, Kobe. It's so hard because it's like I have to say LeBron because I can't knock what he is. And again, this is based on basketball I've watched, so a lot of old school, like I understand what players in the past contributed to basketball, but like I go based on players that I've old enough to watch or young enough to watch. And then so I guess LeBron and Shaq.
Okay, well for me, I would go, Michael, LeBron, Kareem, Timmy Chang Duncan, and the 5th one I would go with Hakeem Olajuwon.
Yeah, see, I can't argue with it, but I like to. Again, my thing is based on, like, I didn't watch a couple of those guys, like, actually grow up watching them. Like, my era of NBA basketball started with Michael Jordan, Shaquille O'Neal time, and then it's, like, from there, then you see all these other players. Like, I can't watch. There's only so much highlights you can see of the other guys in a different era of basketball. Once again, not taking anything away. This is my personal ranking, and people will have their own, but the way that I rank is based on players that I actually got to see with my own eyeballs play real games and not highlights. So it's not like I'm going to push back on any of yours, but just because I know that there's probably a lot of people that feel the same way in terms of your rankings as well, where you put a lot of the legacy players in there, as you should, but that's just how the Ku'ule Agbayani rankings go by what the players she's personally watched play basketball games.
For sure. I mean, I think outside my top 3, I think that's kind of like universally recognized, but like Tim Duncan.
Tim Duncan's definitely one that I'm like, ooh, you can interchange with any of the guys that I've maybe mentioned, so I get it.
Elijah one is one that I think no one really has in the top 5 just because he only won 2 at Houston. But that guy, I think you can put him in any era.
He only won 2, not 4 or 5. So why is he in your top 5, Michael, based on your reasoning?
Because he won Defensive Player of the Year, he won MVP. There's Steph. So I mean, I'm not trying to dock on Steph Curry. I'm just trying to say, like, I'm trying to help your case.
I know, but your reasoning at first was like, oh, Steph has to win one more title in order to be considered blah 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 blah.
I'm just saying it'll help this case because right now, like people right now, there's a debate if who's the best point guard. Is it Magic Johnson or Steph Curry? You get 5, you definitely win that debate. Leave no doubt. BTA that record.
All right, we're going to take a quick break. While we go back, we'll talk some HBU softball and let you guys hear from Alex Takemura. Just a snippet from what he had to say in Sharks Weekly last week. We'll be right back on the Hawaii Sports Radio Network.
DSC
Back to more Wake Up in the Den with Ku'ulei Agbayani and Paul Brecht on the Hawaii Sports Radio Network. Streaming on hawaiisportsradio.com.
Welcome back to all of you, the beautifulest of all the beautiful people. It's Wake Up in the Den, Ku'ulei Agbayani and Michael Lasquero on the Hawaii Sports Radio Network, streaming on our YouTube channel, hawaiisportsradio.com, and via our new Hawaii Sports Radio app that we encourage you guys to download. Again, you can get the live stream right there. You can get all of our play-by-play broadcast schedules that are coming up, schedule subject to change. Again, we got to make up a baseball game that we were supposed to have last week Friday in the OIA, as all of those games got postponed. But we play on for HBU softball today versus Menlo. Games, a doubleheader today, games at 12 and approximately 2:30 p.m. You'll hear Michael and Kyle on the call, presented by Hawaii Pacific Health. Tomorrow, weather should be good for the rest of the week, so we are planning to bring you OIA baseball between Waipahu and Radford, presented by Ko'olau Federal Credit Union. And then Saturday, we're looking to also have a softball game out in Pearl City between Kaiser and Pearl City. And again, you can get all of that stuff on our website or via the app. Also on the app, you can get all of the latest articles, including what we were talking about earlier with the newest UH men's basketball commitments. So there are a couple of features that Paul got a chance to write while baby Melly was sleeping. So go ahead and check that out on our website or on the new app, free to download on Google Play and the App Store. All right, well, getting into some HPU softball, as once we just said, they are back in action coming up this afternoon. Again, not necessarily the best season for the HPU Sharks, still under the first-year head coach Alex Takemura, who has been around the softball world and baseball world. He is a former player under Coach Dunn at Mid-Pac and helped coach at the high school and the college level. His daughter played softball at Chaminade, so very familiar with the local softball landscape here, but as to be expected, especially when you are playing at the Division II level, it's hard enough as it is to get a lot of the resources to really make you instantly competitive. But the good thing is Coach Alex does have a lot of local support. Again, he is a local guy, kind of like small world, because I used to work with his brother way back in the day at our Hukilao restaurant in downtown. Shout out to Jason, one of the best chefs that I know. But no, Coach Alex still maintaining, and his squad though maintaining a very positive attitude, as this has been a rough season. Again, 2-24 in conference, have just won 4 games overall, so 4-30 overall for the Sharks. But they joined Sharks Weekly last week, and I admire just the positive attitude that they're able to keep through a tough season. Again, I am someone who is very familiar with having a college season that is like that. When I was playing at Chaminade, I think we only won, let's see, I played 3 seasons there. I think we may have only won like 2 games in 3 years. And now the Chaminade program is in a much better place now and they're winning. But when you're just starting off, just like when we look at Chaminade baseball, right? They brought back their program after 40 years. So it is difficult to get back on track and get into that winning column whenever your program or a new coach is just taking over at the Division II level. But I do, again, appreciate the positivity and the culture that Coach Alex is building there in the HPU softball program. So last week, Sharks Weekly featured HPU softball, so I wanted to play a snippet for you guys from that show. It's about 4 minutes long, and it just was when Coach Alex was kind of asked about how he's able to keep the mindset and mentality high, considering this really hasn't been a great season, at least by record. Again, 2-24 in conference and just 4-30 overall. So here's a little snippet of that and what Coach Alex had to say.
Because I remember my why, and why did I take this job? Why did I sign up to be coach? Why did I want to be in this situation? And it was super easy to remind them as well, because we've never wavered off of what we've been preaching and talking about, and the beliefs that we have, the values that we have as a team hasn't changed. So it's been super fun, super exciting. It's easy to talk about, and we were just talking about it before this segment started. The players, for whatever reason, we're having a blast. Like it's just been an awesome season. We'd love for our record to show otherwise, but our experience has been super good. I love it.
Well, you're a blast to work with as well.
That's awesome.
The sarcasm.
It's been fun. It's been super good. Very humbling, very, very eye-opening. We have a lot of work to do. We're not satisfied. We'll never be and never stop learning. But at the same time, it's also been super rewarding, and we take a lot of mini victories along the way, and we've done a lot of great things.
Yeah. Because every team faces adversities, but not every team handles it the same. Coach, you do keep your team mentally strong when things aren't going your way. How do you do that?
I think the first thing is to remind them that it's a game. The game is in itself a challenge. It's a game of failure. Softball, baseball, we fail more times than we succeed on most sides of the plate. But at the same time, it is just a game. On the road, it was a brutal. I mean, we were 0-16. We were 0, and I think it was like 0-10 at the time. And I remember we had a dinner, and it was like a super fun dinner. And I was wondering, why is everybody so happy? And it was because of the fellowship. It was because of all the other things that we got to enjoy on the road. We played actually we had the best 0-16 record you possibly could have. because we actually played some really good ball. I mean, we won 5 out of 7 innings one game, and we lost by 2. We won 6 out of 7 innings, we lost by 1. We won 4 out of 7 innings one game, and then we got 10-run ruled. It was like amazing how we could actually play some really good ball, but yet not have anything to show for it. But meanwhile, we were back, at the hotel, and we're talking about adversity, and we're talking about overcoming things and staying positive. And then I get a call about the flooding, and I get a call about all the people that are battling back home. And it's like, it puts things in perspective. Like, we really didn't have a rough road trip. We had a blast. We got to play softball. Just in general, we got to do what we love to do. And meanwhile, everybody back home is, some of them battling for their lives, battling for their houses, their safety, and their families. And so, just keeping things in perspective, we get to do what we love to do every day, and I wouldn't trade it.
Yeah. Beyond wins and losses, do you feel like your team has grown, not just as players, but some of these girls are going and they're going to be graduating, they're seniors, and kind of like helping them set themselves up for the real world, right?
Yeah, not staying down when you get knocked down. I mean, that's the bottom line. We showed up every day, we competed, and we never ever went into a game not caring. So that was just showing up, waking up the next day, turning the page when you needed to, and then also supporting each other when people were not playing at their best. We had a lot of people struggling. We had health issues, we had grade issues, we have all kinds of other things that come with just being a student athlete, and they continue to persevere, they continue to overcome a lot of the challenges that were put in front of them. And I think that just speaks of their character, of the program, or what we're trying to build. And those other things will happen eventually, but they're definitely in a better place, more prepared for life and what's ahead.
And that was HBU softball head coach Alex Takemura on last week, Thursday, Sharks Weekly. Again, if you missed the full episode, you can listen to it on demand wherever you get most podcasts. But I wanted to share that. Like, that's a good mentality to have. Again, I know it's rough. Speaking entirely from actual experience at this Division II level, not winning a lot of games. Like, it can, especially when you come from other programs or high school programs, like a lot of these players do, like Coach Alex does, right? Like, you're not going out there trying to lose games. It was very, very frustrating for me in the beginning after coming from a winning program at Mililani, and then you go to Chaminade and you're just not winning games. But then you start to look at the positives, right? And then how Coach Alex, I do appreciate how he kind of put that in there, where getting a call when they were on the road that all of these the floodings were happening and all of these other people are like losing their homes, trying to salvage what they can, trying to literally save family members, right, when everything was going on. And it's like, well, all of a sudden it's not that serious in terms of the games. Again, you still take the game seriously. You still go out there and try to win, but just being able to put life in perspective, where it's not necessarily, all right, we get to play softball. Like, I get to coach softball, and there's other things that could be going on, and we get to do this every single day, right? So I do like, and it seems like the players have bought into that, right? Like, when they were there, it's like at Sharks Weekly, it's not like their demeanor is one that is like, oh, we're just losing every game. You can still sense that there is a lot of positivity within the program, and that stems from what Coach Alex is trying to build over there. And like I said, like, it wasn't easy to get through the first part of realizing that you're losing all the time, but I think that was the fun part for me when I was playing, is that you rely a lot on your teammates, and you kind of look at like, wow, this is a really cool experience that I get to share with my teammates every single time, and go on these road trips, and it's pretty awesome, like to go through this, and you go battle together. That's what team sports are, right? Like, you're gonna lose some of these games, and baseball and softball, and we've heard that a lot, where it's like, this is a game of failure. Like, you fail more times than you succeed in baseball and softball. But I do like that the program itself, the culture there, is being instilled within the HPU softball program, especially because you got big shoes to fill with Coach Shorty, right? Like, so I do appreciate with Coach Alex being able to keep his team focused and still keep the positive momentum, despite, once again, just a very just not a good season there on paper. But hopefully they can string it together today.
Yeah, and I mean they've been competitive, right? Like, I think their Pac West record is 2-24, but 8 of those losses have been decided by 2 runs or less, 5 of them by 1 run or less. And I feel like this might be the changing the tide. They did have a long layover from their road trip. I think this is going to be the first game I think they play in the month of April, and it's April 13th. So last time they were at Sand Island Field, they had a 7-1 lead against Dominican after 4 innings, a 7-3 lead after 5 innings, but they kind of gave up a 5 spot and they lost 8-7. But they're competitive. Some games are blowouts, but when they are in the games, they're in the games and they have opportunities to win it. I think that Azusa Pacific series on the road, they suffered 3 straight losses that were 1 run, and that's very tough, and that's just a sign of a growing program and a program that, once you figure it out, they're gonna be a hot team. I will say this though, I know we talk about the Michael Lasquero credit meter in the last broadcast, but HPU has not lost a game since we've been digital only, coup. And I don't intend that to happen, that streak to end today. Also, all the broadcasts I've been since we've gone to digital, the home team has won every single time, coup. So that's I don't know if Kyle Galdero is listening to us on the air because he had to text us if the game was still on in the middle of the show, but I'm just putting it out there. HPU has not lost since we switched to digital, and the home team has not lost since I've jumped on the air since we've gone to digital. So putting that into the universe right now, Ku wants to talk about science, but science is about the scientific process, and the scientific process says it's been working so far, Ku, since we've gone to digital. And here's another reason why. I'm going to bring this up on the broadcast. Why I feel good about today in 2 hours is game time is that, Ku wants to bring up, she wants to shout out Mililani, her alma mater, even though she grew up in Paul. But one of the Mililani alumni on the softball team, Michaela Pagampao, is a proud user of the Hawaii Sports Radio Network app. So one of the first 100 downloads, one of the first ones to be a part of the first 100 downloads of the app. So good things happen when you have the Hawaii Sports Radio Network app.
And when you're from Mililani High School. See, Michael wants to take credit for things. I can do the same thing too when it comes to my alma mater and Mililani. Anyways, I wanted to get to this text before we close out because earlier we were talking about with Matt Elliott being the AD and not getting lucky per se, but fortunate of a lot of the success. So we got a text that came in earlier that said, Matt Elliott and co fundraised a lot of money this year that went to NIL for the season, thus contributing to the team's successes. Not luck, LOL. While I do recognize a lot of the money that was fundraised, but did the players from the football team commit after Matt Elliott got hired? No. So I'm just saying, the basketball team, the football team, a lot of these were here. They were in place before or when Matt Elliott kind of took over. Again, I'm not discrediting things that Matt has done. I'm a big fan of Matt Elliott. It's just that I do like to, as much as people want to criticize players and coaches when things go wrong, I'm the type that are well, when they go right, I want to make sure you recognize and give them credit for everything that they did. And it's not me knocking on Matt of being fortunate or lucky. It's me giving credit to and all the turmoil that was happening in the administration.
For sure.
That Timmy Chang, without getting all of this stuff in order, where it was able to keep Micah Ali Hotto pre Matt Elliott coming in here, finding a way, the donors that were here stepping up in the time of turmoil with the regime change, that all those efforts were made to make sure that now the team has these successes that they do. And then a lot of maybe these promises were done before, and then now all the money is coming in. But again, we don't know what the budget is for next year because all of that stuff with the NIL with the government has not been approved or whatever yet. So I understand the text is coming in, but as much as people like to talk about coaches and players when things fail, this is the side I'm coming from, where when things are successes, I want to make sure that we give them a lot of the credit because they are the ones that were here. They are the ones that were putting in all of this work. The coaches were out recruiting, and thus we see the successes that are coming. And it's not necessarily we get a new AD, and that is why Timmy Chang and the football program is successful all of a sudden. It took all of these years of working and suffering essentially through those hard times to get to this point.
For sure. And shout out to Coach Laura Beeman for being on the athletic director selection committee or whatever. They had like a billion committees. And then also when, Coach Timmy Chang and Coach Iranganat, they got to meet the finalists for the athletic director. So, I mean, yeah, they do get credit because they helped select the finalists. And I know it's neither here or there, but cool. We saw some of the finalists, and we were saying no to a lot of them. Cool. So, but yeah, shout out to the coaches. I mean, yeah, but the coaches definitely, yeah, but they're getting the support that wasn't there, And I'm shout out to Craig Angeles for showing that hey, we can be doing more.
That's the thing. I was like, the support was there. It's just not from the president, pre-President Hensel, of course. But anyways, either way, shout out to Matt, shout out to all the coaches and all the student athletes that have been able to make it really fun so far this season to cover UH Manoa because, as we like to joke about, but entirely serious, our job is a lot easier and more fun when the team that we're covering wins. So all of the work that goes into that, it's not easy at the University of Hawaii, as we have seen. So again, shout out to all of the coaches and players, and yes, to Matt Elliott for now continuing hopefully on with the successes. So but yes, doesn't get lost with all the players. But thank you for texting in anyways. All right, but for now, we got to go. Do you know how to play the closing music, Michael? Let's see if Michael can get the closing music done. So start the pot low, and then the closing music. That should be next to the opening, it's music bed 1. Go more that way. Never mind. We'll figure it out later.
I found it. Is it, what is it called?
I think it's just music bed. It was like a default. Hey, there we go. Hey.
You've been listening to Wake Up on the
Did it. All right. That's our show. Don't forget, coming up at noon, so in a couple of hours, you can do what you got to do and then come back and listen to HBU Softball here on the Hawaii Sports Radio Network. We're going to go for Michael Lasquero. I'm Ku'ule Agbayani. Mahalo for listening and watching. It's been Wake Up in the Den. Bye.
You're listening to the Hawaii Sports Radio Network, streaming 24/7 at